It appears like Steve and Marjorie Harvey's relationship has reached an all-time low because rumors are spreading that she cheated on him twice with two separate guys. And if that wasn't bad enough, there are now wild claims spreading on Twitter that she is also getting a divorce and wants half of Steve's wealth. Furthermore, it is said that Marjorie's daughter Lori is defending her mother and believes Steve is not being a good spouse. Is Lori truly holding Steve accountable for Marjorie's affair with him? Okay, so as you are all aware, for a very long time, people have been discussing Steve Harvey and Marjorie's marriage and how it appears to be somewhat messed up. People have been claiming that the marriage doesn't appear to be as beautiful and perfect as these two have been portraying it, and the manner they were exposed over the past few days was nothing short of insanity. Multiple reports claim that Marjorie has been having extramarital affairs with several different men, including Steve's bodyguard and their personal chef. This was simply absurd considering that Steve, who is regarded as something of a love guru, recently stated to People magazine that Marjorie had completely altered his outlook on marriage and relationships. Marjorie, he claimed, altered the way I was. I've never had a good adult relationship. Never have I been loyal. I've never had complete respect. Not this man who is a long-time cheater, you little one. Anyway, due of their very unique past and the way their love developed, some have also had doubts about their marriage. As a result, when Steve and Marjorie first met, it was love at first sight for them. We don't really know Marjorie's feelings at the time, but at least it was for Steve. Steve was performing at a comedy club when Marjorie walked in, and he started making moves on her right away. They stayed in touch for a few weeks, but Marjorie ultimately made the decision to end their relationship because Steve was still an unemployed comedian. Marjorie was not willing to continue the battle of her love while he was still trying to get his money right, particularly not after she had relationships with not just one, but two drug dealers who had lavished cash on her. She therefore had no intention of remaining with a man who was still without the bag. The amazing part about this is that, although Steve and Marjorie were married at the time, their unions didn't prevent them from continuing. I suppose Steve wasn't lying when he claimed he had never been obedient. This was made worse by the fact that Steve's then-wife, Mary Shackelford, had been a huge supporter of him and his work. She basically invested her entire life savings in Steve and assisted him in opening his first comedy club. But later on, when he got the bag, he dumped her and then Marjorie. Did you know that Steve is Marjorie's third spouse? While we're on the subject of Marjorie, she had previously married two different drug dealers, as I have already mentioned, so it was not surprised that she didn't want Steve when he was poor. Jim Townsend, Marjorie's first spouse, is the father of her first two children. Sadly, he was caught trying to purchase 40 kilos of nose candy while Marjorie was expecting Jason, their second child. Authorities at the time suspected Marjorie of being involved in Jim's business, but she denied it, and Jim also accepted a plea deal to clear her name. She married Donald Woods, another dealer who is thought to be Lori's biological father, shortly after divorcing Jim shortly after he was given a prison term. But after being arrested by the police, Donald was also divorced by Marjorie after serving his prison sentence, exactly as she had done with Jim. People's perceptions of Marjorie are thus not the best because of her dubious past with two drug dealers, refusal to date Steve when he was broke, and subsequent affair with him when he was still married. And for a very long time, a lot of people quietly held the opinion that she only dates Steve because of his wealth, and that, if he hadn't become the millionaire he is now, she wouldn't have even given him a second chance. However, as we all know, when she agreed to their relationship the second time, Steve was overjoyed. Steve has made it abundantly evident that he is fascinated with her and spends a lot of money on her. They eventually got married in 2007.
Something you think Steve Harvey spends a lot of money on?
Wife, Steve.
Yes!
In addition to the fact that he claimed to love her for who she was, he also officially adopted her children and gave them his last name. Marjorie wanted to keep her kids away from their biological father's unlawful actions and the fact that their fathers were serving time, which is why she made Steve adopt her children and give them his last name. She wanted to offer her kids a new beginning, and the fact that she was able to provide them with a billionaire father made that possibility even more appealing. Let's not forget how much Steve adores her children, especially Lori. People have said that it's very obvious that he loves Lori more than his own biological children after all.
Our annual father-daughter date to my favorite Japanese restaurant, and you just started talking to me about guys, and you just told me that you always supported me and you'd always be there for me no matter what, and you loved me unconditionally.
Yes, Steve adores Marjorie and supports her lavish lifestyle and that of her children by giving them his last name and including them in his will. He has done a lot for her, So when I heard the rumors that she might leave him, it was fairly crazy. If the allegations are true, however, you know how they say that karma is a cold-hearted beast. Steve essentially admitted that he had had extramarital affairs in the past. And as Beyonce famously remarked, what goes around comes around. You want to know what's fascinating about this circumstance, right? She allegedly cheated on Steve with his security, who was also the person who, after all these years, connected her to him. You remember how I stated that Marjorie and Steve first met in the 1990s, but later broke up? Well, according to Steve, his bodyguard recommended that he pursue a connection with Marjorie because he recalled her. Steve himself made this revelation to People magazine back in 2016, saying, "He told me, look, the only time I've ever seen you happy was when you were with that woman Marjorie. Now, before you go and do something stupid and marry another woman, I'm calling her. It was like being reborn. I messed up so many times in my life. She made all the difference." When you're happy at home, you can make a lot of things happen. So try to image how people felt when they learned that Marjorie had been having an affair with the same man who had connected Steve and Marjorie after 10 years. In addition to supposedly having an affair with Steve, Marjorie is also allegedly planning to file for divorce at some point soon and will demand half of his assets. The news of the affair caused havoc on the internet, and people began pulling Steve and Marjorie into the conversation.
Before I get started, just let me say, I'm fine. Marjorie's fine. I don't know what y'all doing, but find something else to do, because we fine. Okay. Lord have mercy.
Marjorie took to her Insta to deny these and wrote, "My husband and I don't usually stop to address all of the foolishness and lies that have been spread about us. However, to whom much is given, much is required. I understand that with my platform comes some sort of responsibility to those that may not be as strong as we are. But the drama doesn't end there." According to sources, Marjorie's daughter Lori is furious with Steve for not defending her sooner and for allowing all of these stories to spread like wildfire and for allowing Marjorie to go viral online. According to The Insider, Lori believed Steve ought to have addressed the rumors right away rather than postponing it for several days. The Insider also said that the rumors and the fact that it took them days to address them had greatly strained the family's relationship. But fans don't buy his denial, and they left comments saying he hasn't cleared up a thing. Wendy Williams attempted this same thing until she could no longer cover it up. Steve, just keep it real. You ain't the only one that this has happened to, and he's just embarrassed that it's out and in the open and doesn't know how to address it. Thanks for watching our video. Make sure to subscribe our channel for more celeb videos. Don't forget to like and comment. Also share it with friends and family.